57 in Mason City, a lot warmer than it has been the past couple days. I'll let you know what to expect for the next couple days.
Plus, Benji also has the national forecast. All of this and more on this Thursday, April 22nd, senior show edition of Size Eyes on the Skies starts right now.
Live from Studio 171 in Ames, Iowa, the Iowa State Meteorology Department team of meteorologists brings you the latest weather from around the country and out your front door. Iowa State's longest-running television program and the only live weather broadcast on campus starts right now. This is Size Eyes on the Skies.
Welcome back to Size Eyes on the Skies. I am now joined with Benji Wyberg. It's kind of lonely out here on the Size Eyes show, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Usually Natalie Trout, our lower thirds person, just was not able to make it today. Apparently she had some stars meeting ran by our previous producer, Jacob Voss.
Well, at least it's nice and warm out today, you know. Nice and
yeah,
sunny.
It's a great, nice and sunny day. As we continue, look back at temperatures, 55 currently in Carroll, 52 is our cold spot in Sioux City, but pretty much mid-50s throughout the state. We have a couple upper 50s, including Decorah at 59 right now. If we take a look outside, here's our sky cam at the Memorial Union. Very sunny, or pretty much sunny skies as the sun is kind of setting around, but still, very warm day throughout, or as it has been the past couple days. So like I mentioned, 56 in Ames. We do have a relatively strong wind at about 14 miles an hour to the southwest. It was a tough bike ride back home today as my apartment is southwest of campus, and our dew point pretty dry at 22 degrees Fahrenheit right now. And I will have more of your Iowa forecast coming up later in the show.
And now it's time for today's weather story. On this day in 1980, a very hot weather shot the temperatures all the way up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit at Fort Dodge and Waterloo, setting an all-time Iowa high temperature record for the month of April. At Des Moines, the high was 93 degrees Fahrenheit, which remains the warmest temperature ever recorded in April. Remarkably, this record-breaking heat followed just 8 days after the latest significant snowfall in 13 years, which dropped half a foot of snow on the southeastern and eastern Iowa on the 14th. And now here's Benji with a look at what's going on around the country.
Thanks, Sydney. Let's first take a look at temperatures. We don't really have any snow expected here in the Midwest. However, there is a little bit of snow in Montana and even up into Maine, 30 degrees. Currently in Caribou, Maine, which is where our forecast city was today in our senior level meteorology class. But other than that, it's pretty much 60s throughout most of the Midwest, 55 in Kansas City, a little bit colder, 49 up in Denver with those mountains, 82 is our warm spot in Phoenix, Arizona right now. I'll have more of your national forecast coming up after the break.
Welcome back. Now here's Benji with a look at what's happening around the country.
All right, so taking a look back at temperatures here, 60s for a majority of the country right now. But like I mentioned, the Northeast is currently our biggest threat for weather right now. It's currently a little bit snowing, and that's why we do have these frost and freeze advisories in the east, close to the East Coast, kind of in Virginia and West Virginia, and into the Ohio River Valley, that's words, and eastern Kentucky. We do have a little bit of a red flag warning in most of New Mexico, so you don't want to start a fire in New Mexico anytime soon right now. So we kind of got fire and ice throughout our watches and warnings in the country right now. If we take a look at satellite and radar, we do have some rain system moving in through the Midwest right now. We do have a little bit of snow finishing up in Maine, where our forecast contest was for 417 earlier today. As we can move on to our drought monitor, it is extremely dry in the desert southwest right now. This is exceptional drought, which is a lot worse than what it normally is. However, where we're getting precip, it's not really too much of a factor for the central and east section of the country right now. If we take a look at our 500 millibar patterns, kind of a middle of the atmosphere to try to figure out what's going on, we do have a little bit of a shortwave trough associated with that freeze warning that we do have in the Ohio River Valley, and we do have a little bit of another low coming in through Portland, Oregon right now. And as we move on into the next couple weeks, if my clicker will start to work, here we go. I don't even know what's going on down here. So for Sunday, we do have a trough that does move into the western area of the country, and that will affect most of the Midwest come Tuesday, where we do have that trough come in and bring cold temperatures down to the southwest, and that will possibly give us a slight severe chance in the Midwest for Tuesday. As we move on to our futurecast, we do have that rain system that might give us a few showers here in Iowa. More on that later. There is some snow that will fall later in Montana later today, or later tonight, and then rain in Arkansas and Missouri on Friday. And into Saturday morning, we do have the southeast area of the country expect some rain. As we move on to our forecast highs for tomorrow, pretty similar to today, we have 60s throughout much of the country. Phoenix, our warm spot, at 84, and San Antonio, 75, is also one of our warm spots. But you can kind of see that trough that I explained in the 500 millibar pattern kind of swoop in. The Rockies do bias it a little bit with colder being higher up in the mountains, but generally you do kind of see a little bit of that trough pattern coming in. As we look ahead a little bit closer to home in the Midwest, we do have some rain. I don't know where chili came from, but we do have some rain coming in through the Midwest on Tuesday, as we do have that chance for severe weather. As we move on to our pick city, Minneapolis, Minnesota, where Sydney and I's hometown, where we do have 50s and 40s for this weekend, a slight chance for rain throughout much of the next week. 73 is the warm day on Monday, but we have rain expected on Tuesday and Wednesday. And I will send it to our Natalie with our Iowa forecast, but I don't think she's here right now, so I guess I'll just do the Iowa forecast. We'll be right back after the break.
Okay, so what type of weather causes the most deaths? Is it A, tornadoes, B, floods, C, heat, or D, hurricanes? We'll have that answer for you coming right up. Now, let's take a look at the week ahead with Benji.
All right, so like I mentioned earlier today, it is 56 currently in Ames with a strong southwesterly wind. I'll let you know if that'll stay the same or change coming into next week. Welcome back to Size Eyes. I'm meteorologist Benji Wyberg. Here with our temperatures a little bit closer to home, pretty much 50s throughout most of the state. Decorah, it's a little bit warmer to the northeast corner of Iowa, as we do have a little bit of a trough coming in to our west right now, but pretty much mid-50s through much of the state currently. If we look at our winds, these have calmed down a little bit since this afternoon as we go into nighttime. However, these were a lot higher earlier in the day, pretty much like 10 to 15 miles an hour. They're kind of slowing down to more 8 to 15 miles an hour. Des Moines is our slower spot at 7 miles an hour, but these winds have been slowing down. They were a little bit windy, however, it did feel really nice out for a majority of the day today. If we take a look at satellite and radar, we do have some rain showers kind of sneaking their way into Iowa right now. That shouldn't affect us too much. It might get a little bit of a drizzle here and there, hoping for a trace in Des Moines, because that's what I put on my meteorology forecast contest. However, I don't expect it to be any big rain event for this evening. If we take a look at that futurecast, like I mentioned, this morning is probably our better shot for rain. As we get 7:30 a.m. is kind of where much of the central portion of Iowa, pretty much straight down I-35, will be experiencing rain showers, and that will move off fairly quickly. No real harm, no foul, and Friday will be a little bit partly cloudy of a day, maybe a shower here and there, especially in the morning, but it will clear off later in the week. If we look at the weekend, Saturday looks gorgeous. Sunday also looks pretty gorgeous as we continue on. We have another futurecast zooming out even further as these rain showers do scoot up into Iowa. And unfortunately, the Rocky Mountains are still experiencing our favorite wintertime weather of snow. I know all of us are loving snow right now, especially with it being spring. A lot of us kind of want it to warm up, but there is a little bit of snow. I do not expect that snow to reach Iowa as we are a little bit lower in elevation. As we move on to our forecast for tonight, 26 is going to feel a little bit colder. I don't know where that lightning strike came in. I thought I deleted that earlier. However, it is going to be a bit chilly if you are out tonight, but tomorrow is going to be absolutely gorgeous. 60 degrees tomorrow morning. Winds out of the south, which will bring in that warm southerly air right now. And winds are going to be a little bit calmer than they were today at about 5 to 10 miles an hour. If we look at our forecast highs throughout the state, it'll be a little bit warmer to the west and a little bit colder to the east with those showers kind of coming through tonight. And if we look at our week ahead, our 5-day, we do have some AM showers tomorrow, like I mentioned, but pretty much sunny and partly cloudy throughout most of the day. Tuesday is going to be a day to watch out for. We do have our next precip day. Might be expecting a little bit of storms, so keep your eye out. That is still 5 days or 4 or 5 days in advance, so we do want to keep an eye out for that. But that's still pretty far in advance, so nothing to worry about too much. 85 is our warm day on Monday, but 60s and 70s to start for the weekend and into middle of next week.
Okay, so let's jump back at that trivia question. So what type of weather causes the most deaths? Is it A, tornadoes, B, floods, C, heat, or D, hurricane? What do you think about that, Benji?
I know people might think tornadoes and hurricanes, but I know flooding and heat are a little bit more of a issue with deaths because people don't expect them, and they're kind of a little bit more widespread. So I might go heat. I usually run hot, so usually I sweat a little bit easier. But I'm kind of leaning towards flooding or heat.
Of course, you'd be leaning more towards heat because you always overheat. In general, yeah, this was a question that I actually came up with when I was doing Hosting 206, but the answer would actually be correct. It would be heat as the correct answer for this trivia question. So, yeah.
So how does it feel to finally get on Size Eyes for your senior show?
Oh, this feels good. I kind of did this thinking that it was going to be a full show and I get to banter with Natalie and you, but it's kind of exciting getting to be in front of the camera for a little bit. How do you feel it being your final show?
Well, I'm kind of a little bit sad that it's my final show, but I had a great time doing Size Eyes for the past 4 years. It's just kind of nostalgia. It doesn't feel like my last show at this point, but it's just nerve. I mean, I wish it's kind of sad that it's my last show. It just hasn't hit me yet.
Yeah, well, at least we'll have some interesting weather to help end our semester at Iowa State. So that will conclude tonight's show, so please be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter. You can find every show on YouTube under the Size Eyes channel. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next year.